There, that'll fix it. I hadn't started the recording again. We carried on a little conversation there Tuesday night, and I noticed I forgot to turn the recorder on.
Well, I missed you Tuesday night there, Don.
Yeah, I missed being there. But what happened was I woke up about 1:30 from the thunder, I guess, and I seen that my neighbor's light was on, so I come over and went to my usual weather place, and it said severe thunderstorm warning for LaGrange County, and those don't usually worry me. So I was going to go over and look at my Doppler, and I just clicked the button to go to Doppler, and the power went off.
Wow.
So I went back to bed and laid there and watched the thunder and lightning, and it lasted maybe 20 minutes or so, and then it just it calmed down, and I went to sleep. Then I woke up the next day, and power was off, and no internet Well, I didn't have any power, so I wouldn't have an internet connection anyway. But so I took a little drive to see what was going on in town, and the power was all off, and trees all over the place, and still didn't hear anything about a tornado. I figured the damage was straight line winds because there was no warnings of a tornado.
Yeah.
Later that evening, my sister came down and to see how we were, and I said, "Well, we're okay." And she said, "Did you know there was a confirmed tornado?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, it was a confirmed tornado. I seen it on television." So.
Wow.
And then in the paper the next day, I did see where they had confirmed an E1.
Well, at least it wasn't too bad one. Of course, there's no good one, so.
Yeah, it knocked the wall out, one of the walls out from one of the schools here in town, elementary school. I don't know if it was a pressure thing or what, but it blew the whole front wall out of it.
Good thing it was at night and not in the daytime when kids might have been there.
Yeah, well, kids are out of school, but
Well,
there
that's
may
true.
have been people in there working too. But it was an experience we won't forget soon.
Yeah, I shared with them the other night. One night, it was back in 1973. I had been over in Alabama, which is visiting my mother, which is about 250 miles from where I am now, or where I was then. And I'd come home. It was real late that night when I came home. Weather was calm, didn't seem any problem, no rain, no wind, nothing. We didn't have any problem. And my wife and I were pretty tired, and we went to bed. Next morning, the phone was ringing. Woke me up. I answered the phone. It was my mother. She wanted to know if I was all right, and I said, "Yeah, I was all right." And she said, "Well, she just wanted to know because on the television it talked about right there where I live. There was something like an E5 or something, some huge tornado had come through there, and I didn't even know it. Didn't know it had happened, but when she said something, and then I got cobwebs out of my head. I started hearing there was all kind of sirens going on, and ambulances going up and down the street, and people running around hollering, and it seemed like there had been a tornado there. It come right over the apartment we was in, but it skipped over the apartment we was in, didn't do any damage in that one. So, we they hit a yard, where they parked a whole bunch of big 18-wheel trucks, and I drove by and saw that, and they were all rolled up in little balls, and, it skipped over, and it actually hit the governor's mansion, and the governor of Georgia. It took the roof off of it. So, but my wife and we were real tired when we went to bed, and like I said, I didn't hear anything going on, didn't know what was happening at all until my mother called on the phone and woke me up.
Yeah, those things it's amazing the damage that they do.
Amazing thing though, the power was off all the way around us, and it was off for 4 or 5 days, and our power never went off.
Yeah, they were saying here, rumors were going around it would be 2 to 4 days that we were going to be without power. Yeah. But we got ours back Tuesday night at 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. It was the next day, Wednesday, before I got the internet back. But but then there are still some parts here in town that are without power, so the 4-day thing should have said some areas. The rumors were the whole town was going to be without power for 2 to 4 days.
Wow.
There's still some parts that are without.
Oh, yes. We had a power problem this winter when we had a big storm, ice storm, snowstorm, come in and hit and took a bunch of trees down, and our power was off then about 3 or 4 days. I don't. Got kind of cold here, but not supposed to get cold in Georgia.
That's another thing. It's amazing how dependent you become on that power when you don't have it. You really miss it.
I got all my phones go through the internet, and I got my internet network here. I've got it backed up with about 2 UPS systems, but they only hold up for about 40-45 minutes before they go dead. So it didn't do me much good then.
Well, how's that, Mike? How's the UPS system work?
Well, when it's got a battery in it, and normally it runs on just the regular power of the 110. And feeds 110 volts out to my network devices. But when the 110 supply power goes away, it switches over to battery power, and it's got a converter in it that continues to supply 110, so it's uninterruptible. That's what UPS means, uninterruptible. So it doesn't interrupt the power, but the batteries only last so long when there's no power coming in to keep them charged. So,
yeah, I was wondering if UPS had a phone system I didn't know about.
No, this wasn't UPS. Not that. It was the uninterruptible power source. And it
supposed to give you enough time to safely shut the system down, basically.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I ran a generator when the storms hit here in 2004, and I was glad to see the power company come back. It was costing me a fortune in gasoline.
Yeah. Well, after that storm this winter, my son bought me a generator, which is sitting out in my storage room. It hadn't been used since. We hadn't had a problem since then, but.
Yeah, we're on the 10-year mark now, and they say that every 10 is when we get hit with one. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they say.
Keeping my network up, is primary, like I said, because all my phones go through the internet. My cell phone, usually if power goes off in the area, then my cell phones go down, but they don't work either. So, in fact, they don't really work very well anyway. I generally have to run them through the internet for even for them to work. So, and that's the reason I have the UPS systems on the network. But like I said, that only holds up for about 40 days. I've got it primarily so that when power blinks off and just goes off for a few minutes at a time, and comes back, my telephones don't go down and my network doesn't go down. But the computers are not on the power source. When some of them go down. They're on 110 volt, and the power goes away. They go away. But my primary computer that I use is actually a laptop, and it battery powered. It'll actually hold up for about 3 hours on battery, but it doesn't have
Yeah,
internet access without the network up. So after 45 minutes, when the network goes down, it even the laptop's really just a pretty device sitting on the desk without that doesn't do much good.
right. They got the new iPad Air. They got a new one out that's got a 13-inch screen, and it's a tablet like the Surface.
Mm-hmm.
And it runs 12 hours battery life.
Well, that's a pretty good while. Mine'll hold up about 3 hours. I've tested it in the past. It holds up about 3 hours. So. Well, I'm just looking here, David. Your IBO profile is up and running, so it's good. Doesn't look much different from the way it did last night, but
Yeah.
it wasn't supposed to, as long as it works.
Yeah, I didn't understand why them lines went up under there, but now see that line, that one that says nowhere you can, the yellow banner.
Yeah.
That one last night was below that line. Now it's above it. That system's wacky.
Yeah. I'm not sure why those lines. I'll give that some thought today. I really didn't come up with a logical reason. Normally, a lot of times when you have something set up as a hyperlink, it's underlined. But it's usually on the underline is usually just directly under the hyperlink and not anywhere else. These extend on to the left there.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure where they come from. I looked in the HTML code and I didn't find them. But at least your link's working.
Yeah, they're working. Now I got to work on the star warp end of it. Now that I got a pretty good idea on how to do it. I learned a lot last night.
So you guys have any plans for the 4th?
No, I don't make plans. My ex-wife makes them for me.
My wife and I have been sitting here talking about it. We want to see if we can find some fireworks somewhere, but I'm not real sure where there's going to be any around here. I'm sure there will be. We're going to have to hunt for them. But everybody's gone off this weekend. There's nobody here but me and my wife, so we'll find something.
Well, I'm going to go fishing.
Well, that sounds good.
I haven't done that in a long time either.
I hadn't been fishing in a long time. When I was younger, I used to go fishing a lot.
Yeah, when I was younger, I hunt and fished and did all that outdoorsy stuff, and haven't done it in years.
Yeah, I still do it. I'll be an old man, probably 80 years old, still out there bow hunting.
You're a bow hunter, huh?
Yeah, love it. I could put an arrow and a zero on a narwhal pack from 30 yards.
Wow. That's something I never did. I never did hunt with the bow. My son does, but I never got into that.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, you got that. Go ahead.
Good evening. This is Mike in Georgia, and you've reached our winning team training call. Please tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count.
Sounds like that fella from up there in Ohio.
Snowhio, yeah.
Snowhio, huh?
Well, during the winter anyway.
Good evening, Reverend Dave.
Hello, Don. How was you survived the tornado, huh?
Yeah, survived it. Scared me, but survived it.
Yeah, I'll scare the pee out of you if you're not careful.
Yeah. I wasn't scared till the next day, though. I didn't know it was a tornado till the next day.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't have any warnings, no sirens, nothing.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm glad you're okay.
Well, thank you.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Is that Sandy?
No, that was my wife sitting behind me.
Oh.
Sorry.
It said there were 3 other people on the line.
We got David, we got me, we've got Don, and we now have you. So,
Hello, David.
Hi, Reverend Dave. How are you doing?
Oh, well, if I felt any better, I couldn't stand it.
Well, that's good.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like you're eternally grateful.
It's the way to be. Sorry I'm late. I was listening to a recording, and then I realized what the time was, so I clicked off the recording and came here.
Well, we appreciate you coming to the meeting.
you are important.
Well, I try not to miss it. I try to be here every week.
You are important.
So, heard a story about a... Nah, never mind.
Okay.
I'll wait. I'll do it at a more opportune time.
Is that one of them nevermind stories? Or?
Yeah, it's one of those never mind stories. But I did hear about a golfer went out one weekend, and he came back later, and his wife noticed he wasn't his usual drunk, belligerent self, and she said, "What in the world happened?" He says, "Oh, I can't believe it. My best friend in the whole world, my friend Harry, we were on the first tee, and he just toppled over, and he was dead." And his wife said, "Good heavens, that's awful." He said, "That's not the half of it. After that, it was hit the ball and drag Harry. Hit the ball and drag Harry." Now, that's a committed golfer.
That's a committed one. Yep. So, so how is Ohio going now?
Well, we're better today. We were in the 60s and the 70s today. It was much more nicer and much more comfortable. Uh, Went and got a workout in this afternoon and picked up some groceries for my wife, and so we're all set. We had pizza tonight for dinner, and so it was a nice evening. But I've been busy. I did a 4th of July email blast for the safe list. I put a couple other emails in afterwards, so I've been busy tonight.
I guess I probably know the answer already from what you just said, but let me ask you a question. Let me put it out here, and maybe other people can comment too. What do you What do you think about using a safe list or other other means too in advertising on the day before the holiday? Do you,
I think it's a good idea because I think a lot of people in the early evening of the holiday go to their computers to see what's been said because they've had their party, they've had their dinner, and now they don't want to watch TV. They want to get some business accomplished. And Friday and Saturday, if it's a weekend holiday, is a prime time to get the word out. So, and if you do something patriotic, you do something to take attention away from the business and to the country, people are much more sympathetic towards you. At least that's what I've discovered.
mm, I'm sure you need a lot of sympathy, so
I'm sure I do.
I was just wondering if anybody had opinions on that or ideas, or 'cause I typically find, well, not just holidays, but typically Friday and Saturday, is, I usually get very little response from advertising, and sometimes I wonder if I'm wasting my time doing it on Friday and Saturday. So, and especially on holidays, I usually get very little response. Maybe I just do it wrong. Maybe I need to get you to write some promos for me or sales letters for me.
Well, maybe I ought to, because if what I gear it towards the holiday, towards a patriotic holiday,
Hmm.
like for Veterans Day or for Memorial Day or for the 4th of July, I tend to get a very good response rate. I tend to get a minimum of 5 to 10 opt-ins
They just like you better than me.
over the weekend. Well, I don't think they like me better than me, but they like what I say. Like today, I said, "Happy Independence Day, America," and then I says, "Remember that freedom is not free; that it cost our world its very best and brightest." And
Yep.
then I said, "Make sure you thank a veteran for your freedoms."
Yep.
And I just try to bring to mind what people ought to be thinking about anyway, and they seem to appreciate it when I bring it to mind. Because I haven't even mentioned the business. I have my link in there, I have my hot link, but it's the message that's important.
Right.
And
Yep.
we daren't forget what kind of sacrifice was made by our veterans and by our men and women in uniform. Uh, like it says, least we forget. We can't forget. We have to remember that it cost us our brightest and our best to be free today. And people are free in different ways, but at least we have the freedom to work a job or to do a home-based business or to reach out and love somebody, where in other countries they don't have that freedom. They think they do, but they don't. They're told who to associate with. They're told by their financial structure who they can go out with, and that's not right.
Well, I want to take this opportunity, Dave, since I know you better than better than anybody. I want to thank you for your service. I know you was in the army, if I'm right, if I remember right,
Hmm.
and I want to thank you for that.
Well,
I'm not sure about Don and David, but I'll extend the same thank you if it's appropriate there.
well, we're all fighting the same battle. We're all fighting for freedom of expression. We're all fighting for freedom to do our business here in the marketplace,
Yep.
and we're all fighting in our own way for the freedom of the United States and for the world. And should we fail, we'll all be a little bit poorer because of it. But failure is not an option. It doesn't have to be an option. We could make a difference in our own little way, day by day, week by week, month by month.
We we do enjoy freedoms that most of the world really doesn't enjoy here in this country. Even though we've got some people in this country that or seem like they're working real hard to destroy those freedoms. Uh, I'm not going to get
And unfortunately, some of them are in positions of leadership.
I'm not going to get political here and anything like that. I do have my opinions, but I try to keep them to myself and when I'm on a call here. But anyway, we do have people that are working for them, but we can do something when it comes time to vote. And I know we're going to have some primaries here real shortly here in Georgia and primary runoffs. And I just want to encourage anybody if you got elections coming up, voting coming up in the states where you are, to remember and go vote, because remember that is one of the rights and freedom that we have that has been bought and paid for by those that service our service people. I can't think of the words I want to say, but that is one
Yeah,
thing
and
that this country is great for. Go ahead, Don.
and that's where the votes are really needed this year, is in the primaries. Get rid of them people that have been in there for ages and caused the problem. They're certainly not the ones that's going to fix it.
Well, I'm a firm believer that we only have 535 of them there in Washington that we need to get rid of and replace. But those 535 need to be replaced.
Yep. I agree 100%.
Well, I got a comment.
Okay.
When you go to vote, be sure to do your homework.
That's true too.
Yes. Not that difficult to do either.
Mm-mm.
The rest.
No, it's real easy to do. If they're in Washington now, we need to vote them out.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how these negative ads they put on TV works
Oh yeah.
for people that don't do their homework.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
We got this congressman or city councilman in Cleveland that's been pulled over for drunk driving like 4 times. He's been convicted all 4 times. And yet he's still barking about the freedom of the people. and yet they continue to re-elect this bum. And to me that's stupid. He can't even keep sober long enough to keep off the road.
That's something that I don't understand. I don't understand how come we keep re-electing people that get in office, and the first time, okay, but they can make promises and things like that, but when they get in office and they have a proven track record, then that is not the most desirable. I don't understand why we keep re-electing them, but for some reason or other we do. Makes me worry sometimes. But
Well,
I got faith in the one that's actually in charge. So
there's a certain man up in Washington, and I think we all know who he is, and said the people are too stupid to rule themselves. But they need a authority figure or a governing body to tell them what to do. And he used another word, but I won't share it with you because it sounded very anti-Christic like
hmm
to me. It said they need an what was it? Well, anyway, it was very. They need a potentate to tell them what to do. And that just disgusted me when I heard it.
well, let me.
Well, that's with so many of them. They've been in there so long, they've started to believe in themselves as
Yep,
leaders.
you're right. They start believing their own lies. Well, we kind of stray in here. Let me move us back to why we're here tonight. Anybody got anything exciting going on? We did work with David last night and helped him, and he got his IBO profile where it's working.
Very good.
He's got some more to add to it and some more to do to it, but for right now, it is at least working and effective. Does anybody else have anything you want to add?
I got a question to ask. What do people do when they want to resubmit a PR as a new PR and IBO says no, you can't do that? What are people doing
Change the title.
to well, I changed the title and they still reject it.
You know, I've never had one rejected. I don't know, and I resubmit some of my old ones sometimes. I don't do it frequently, but from time to time I'll go back and pull up one of my old ones, and a lot of times I'll go through it and I may change a little bit if it seems appropriate to do so. But most of
Do
the
you
time
need to
I'll
change
change.
the opening line, or do you need to?
Well, I don't know.
I got an idea.
I don't
I
usually.
got an idea.
Go ahead.
Reverend Dave, if you change, I would think if you change the title and change your keywords, that it would go through.
Well, I really don't use keywords. I don't use them too often. But I've tried to put the same work through, like several months later, and they say, "Sorry, this one's been used already."
Well, let's get an opinion from the expert on the IBO and the IBO PRs. Mr. Don, what do you think on that subject?
Well, to be honest with you, I've never done that. I've never tried to re-enter one as a new one. I've posted like a something on the wall, and then I'll attach the link to the article
Yeah.
that way. But I've never tried to actually resubmit an article as a new one. I've never done that.
I know.
I have put up a headline, and then put a link to the article.
Yeah. Well, that ought to work just fine. I'm sure it will. And I know Bill Bateman is real good about. He doesn't. I mean, he'd go in and find some of my real old posts, some year or 2 years old, and he'll comment on them again, which will kick them back up on the wall where other people see it, and then we wind up getting other comments. But that's not really reposting the same Here you are. Like I said, I do have one or two that I like to repost every now and then, but I always go through and change it a little bit to make it a little bit more pertinent or make it a little better.
Hmm.
And sometimes I'll change the title on them, but don't do that often.
Well, I
How does
don't
Bill?
intend to do it a lot, but I'm running out of material, so. Uh,
That's the same here. I draw blanks, and I've got probably 300 some posts. A lot of times I'll go back to an old one and comment on it, which will bring it back up too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying that Bill Bateman does frequently.
So if Mike, if Bill Bateman goes in your profile and looks at one of your PRs and then clicks on it and then comments on it, it knocks you back up to the top of the wall.
Mm-hmm. You adding a fresh comment to it, it'll put it back on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I won't say the top. I guess it takes it to the top, but it scrolls down from the top pretty fast. But usually it's there long enough for other people to see it and click on it, and you will get several other people usually going over there and adding comments, new fresh comments to it. And of course, every time they do it, kicking it back up again. So, uh,
hmm. Hmm.
but if you got one, you want people to see again. That's the way to do it. Either what Don suggested, making a wall comment or a headline there or something, and putting a link in there to the PR, or actually going to the PR and then and adding a fresh comment to it.
Well, that explains why I see on the wall sometimes I see people that comment on their own PRs if they want to put them back up there. So that might be the way to do it, Reverend Dave, is just comment on your own PR.
But then I don't get credit for a new
No,
Oh.
you
for a
don't.
new PR.
No, you don't.
So that's what I'm looking for, to get credit for the new PR. I'll try it again. Maybe I was just mistaken about how I was doing it. Maybe I
Go
need to
go,
change.
go back through and edit it and see what you can change to refresh it, make it fresher, more pertinent for the current time, and
Hmm. Okay,
then you've created a new PR. So
sounds like a winner. Well, folks, it's about my son's bedtime, so I'm gonna let you go.
it's about your bedtime, huh?
Not mine, but my son's. So I don't go to bed till 10 or 11. So it's good to
night,
talk to you.
Reverend
Thank you
Dave.
for your answers. I appreciate your input, and I value your opinions, and I pray for you all daily. So
We
I'll
value
continue until Jesus tells you to stop.
we value your opinion too. You are important to this group. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I guess Sandy's getting hit with a hurricane.
That's
Is it
well,
is it Aaron or Andrew or
It's there, and
Aaron?
yeah,
It's, I guess North Carolina's getting nailed tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if Sandy is or not. She might be. She's a little bit further west. She's not on the coast.
Hmm.
She's over around Greenville in that area.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
she still might be close enough to be getting some rain and storms from that. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I got a nice greeting from Marnie for Independence Day. She always
Yeah,
remembers the
she
holiday.
always remembers that, even though it's not Canadian holiday, but she always remembers it.
Well, they have their own holiday on like the first or the second, I think.
Right, they do. And they've got a Thanksgiving Day too, but it's not the same day as ours. So.
Theirs is in October, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, let you guys go. Talk to you later.
Appreciate you being here tonight. We'll talk to you later. Have
God bless.
Good night.
a good night. Well, it's coming up pretty close to Don's phone dropping off time. It's not quite there yet. But has anybody else got anything you want to add tonight? Or I will mention that I do have a brother over there on right on the coast in North Carolina, and his family, and so if y'all
I'll put him in my prayers.
if you got a prayer list there, you can add him to it. I sure appreciate it.
Will do.
We got a monster prayer list at church there. We put him on it.
Well, I appreciate it. His name is David, by the way. We seem to have a lot of those. But I would appreciate that. I don't know if anybody's got anything else. We'll hang in here. If not, we'll give everybody an early night off and let you go and have a good time. I hope everybody has a great 4th and enjoy yourself. Be careful, especially if you're going to be playing with the fireworks and gunpowder. Just be careful with that. Try not to hurt anybody or start any fires. With that, anyway, I hope everybody enjoys their 4th and enjoys the reason that we're celebrating.
All right.
Well, thank you, Mike. And good night, David.
And good night, Don. Thanks.
Thank y'all
Hope
for
you
being
all
here.
have a nice weekend.
All right. Bye.
Bye.